What do you think Douglas Murray's bottom line was?
So what he's saying is that if you have a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about in places of influence, and you're allowing them to influence a bunch of people, we are going to have idiocracy. Like, that's literally what that's like.
Why?
Because if everybody who is in a position of influence doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and most people are believing those things, and the things that they end up believing are what they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, we're going to have people who are just fucking idiots who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I think that what Douglas was saying is that, yeah, free speech is a good thing. It's a very important thing, and it's protected by the First Amendment. However, it's important. No, not until. He's not saying that this person should be put in jail because the First Amendment is just about the government anyway. But what he's saying, what he's saying is that there are going to be people who don't know what they're talking about. And it is more likely that you're going to get people who know what they're talking about in fields that have standardized
training.
To who? In fields who have according to history, according to the history of specialization, according to the history of the agricultural revolution, according to the fact that you won't go to me as a mechanic to fix your car. Like, these are important things, and it's not the case that experts are always correct. But if you have any idiot,
as Matthew King brought up before, it's not about always being correct. It's about the transparency of when they're incorrect. So I don't remember ever hearing anybody walk back the food pyramid. I just remember it kind of just fading away. I don't remember anybody actually walking back the 6-foot rule for COVID. We just kind of didn't really do that anymore. When we were talking about the masks, it was first, you don't need a mask. You shouldn't be wearing a mask. I don't know if you remember, but in the beginning, it was all the fucking right wings that was going crazy with
I think Fauci
masks and all that.
I think Fauci did end up walking that back. But regardless of that fact, food pyramid, I'm interested.
Okay, but yeah,
how did the food pyramid change?
What do you mean? They got rid of it because it doesn't represent a healthy diet.
Who got rid of it?
I mean, I don't know specifically, but.
Okay, so the reason why I asked you that is because you're saying that they didn't walk it back, but it sounds like they walked it back to the point where
I'm saying so they're walking it back is, and the way that I'm saying is, oh guys, we got this wrong. We need to amend this thing. You know how you guys have been plastering the food pyramid in every cafeteria in every single public school? We have to take not only do we take those down, but we have to tell people that we were wrong about this and replace it with a better thing. Just quietly, doing the Simpsons Homer meme where you go back into the bush is not what I mean by walking it back. That's just walking back. That's just.
Are you 100% sure that no statements were made regarding changes?
Am I 100% sure that no statements were made? No. But that is
so. The reason why I say
that should be front page news. If it was not
we can say that.
Then I don't care. Say that some FDA person said something in a Friday night thing. That's irrelevant to me. If it wasn't front page
but
news,
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like it wasn't news. Period. Like there was never any articles where it was like, oh, they walked that. Like, it could just be the case that maybe you missed it.
Sure.
I'm not saying for certain, but what I'm saying,
So then okay, all right. So let's look up. Let's see if we can find. I was watching a little bit of podcast cringe here. Scientist refuting the food pyramid. Let's just see where that takes us. We got our boy Jordan here.
Do you think that that's the best place to look though? Don't you think maybe Googling it to see the actual statements in the historical record? Because if you go to YouTube, anybody's gonna say,
right, and then it's going to be more sensationalist. And then it's dependent on us as individuals to determine the veracity of what they're saying. We don't have the time to look at.
No, we do. We do. We could Google it right now.
Okay.
If you don't,
you Google
it. All right,
you Google it.
Pyramid. Food pyramid.
So
change.
Breaking news: first scientists back animal base pyramid. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not again.
So let's just see what Peterson
didn't even know about this shit.
So maybe
I don't want to hear what Jordan Peterson says. That's taking a bias. I want to hear what's an actual non-biased party says.
That doesn't exist, friend. Non-biased opinions don't exist from human beings.
Hold on.
That is the entire point of this aspect of.
Do you agree Do you agree that there is a fact of the matter that
Yes.
someone made a statement about this that was news?
Yes.
Okay. So saying that there's no bias in this conversation doesn't seem to apply, because what I'm saying is that the source that we're using doesn't seem like they're going to get, like, you could omit information as opposed to actually going to the first sources that provide that information. So if I'm going to listen to Jordan Peterson or like even like a leftist say something, I'm going to get their bend of it as opposed to Googling the actual statements that exist.
Okay.
Don't you think
So
that that would be the smarter way
if
to
you
do
want
it?
to Google, then go ahead and Google, and then we'll compare that and what you find to what we're listening to. I think that's exactly what we should, what the Dave Smith Douglas Murray debate should have been. Saying, I'm going to take these sources, and this is my information. You take
you know
your
what's
sources.
funny? It's only after a cursory guide, but it seems like Michelle Obama was the one that basically helped change it. So hey, win for the Dems, bro.
Hey, good for her. Good for her.
Very
I have no problem with Democrats getting things right once in a while. I mean, let's not forget
me
that,
too.
let's
Just for
not
the
forget
record,
that she started with the the getting rid of sugar, and then she had to move to fitness because of the sugar lobbies. But
yeah, for the record though, just to I guess meet you guys halfway as well. Like, as much as RFK doesn't understand a lot of shit, I think that he's absolutely correct on the processed food argument. And I think that that's something that Dems generally and left generally have been okay with. And I've been seeing a lot of my friends who are on the left that are like, this is the one thing that like we fuck with. But yeah.
So, all right, let's just see what he's got. Fauci's science.
Step sideways here for a moment. I'd like to talk about the food pyramid with you. And so I'm going to lay a little bit out about my understanding of the food pyramid and how it came up.
And actually, really quick, I think that is a fundamental aspect that seems to be glossed over when we are going to somebody like Jordan Peterson. I don't even really like that much. I think if you stuff that we've covered, be like, fucking say what you're saying. You're always just fucking word salad. But
Yeah.
I think there should
What
be.
do you mean by it? What do you mean by
that shit? Fucking
like, bro,
drives me
shut
insane.
the fuck up.
But I
yeah,
think that there, like, if you're watching any of this stuff at any part across the aisle without, okay, I know this is their bias. They've been very open about how they're on the right, how they like this, how they don't like that, how they, shill for the carnivore diet. That is all at front of mind whenever I'm going to listen to something from Jordan Peterson. And if it's not, then I agree that it's an issue. But it seems like at least Douglas Murray, and by extension, maybe yourself, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that it's assuming that, oh, you just listen to Jordan Peterson and whatever Jordan Peterson says, that's the Bible. And that is absolutely not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that about everybody, obviously, because, there's some people that even support Trump that aren't even super like in the weeds and they don't look into stuff, like a lot of like independents or whatnot. But what I will say is that a lot of the times that I talk to a lot of people on the right, they'll cite things or they'll have a strong opinion about something that they haven't looked into at all. And it's the way that they got this information was from someone on the right telling them a thing. And it's just like,
oh no,
even
people on the right, they can't say correct things. Oh my goodness.
Well, they have, just like I said, like I've given RFK technically a Democrat, but I mean, I guess ideologically
not
right
anymore, baby.
Yeah, I agree with some of his points. Like, I'm never going to take something away from somebody.
Talking about him specifically. Let's say, let's see what she says. RFK understands a lot more than people realize. He's been an environmental attorney for decades. He understands what he's talking about. How do you personally feel, just in general, on RFK?
RFK doesn't seem to understand a lot of the things that he talks about. And I think some of it at first, it's funny because like before Biden dropped out and RFK was running, I thought that RFK would be a good alternative. However, the more I looked into his claims, it was a little off. So for instance, RFK basically he did this thing where he was trying to like do like all like COVID like vaccine and like the problems and everything. And he's like, these are the side effects of the COVID vaccine thing, right? And he pulls out the insert. He pulls out the insert, right, of the side effects. But the problem is that, and again, this goes back to the expertise conversation, those were not side effects that are listed. Basically, with like pharmaceutical products, what the inserts have, they are like just post-market experiences and adverse effects that are reported, not that they actually are side effects, but that are reported through whatever that thing is, where people just report these things in order for for people to be able to like actually find like what the actual side effects are. So he listed a bunch of these quote unquote side effects, but the insert that he pulled out itself literally says it's not always possible to establish a causal relationship to vaccination and the adverse effects. That's not what this is. So
maybe
like
then we should do more studies before
effects.
Mandating it nationally.
Yeah, I mean, we could even agree on that, but even like, do you admit that what he listed wasn't side effects, and they were like, and the insert literally just said it's like those aren't side effects?
No, I have not done the reading that RFK has done. I have not done the reading that a doctor who is going to sit across from RFK has done, and so then I will listen to them both and make a determination based on
what I would
the
say
understanding
is
I have.
What I would say is look up what those inserts actually say and what they actually mean, because it's literally written on the inserts that these are not side effects. These are like VAERS post-market reported data, and a bunch of these things are going to get reported, but it's not a causal effect. Basically, it's just warning you about the possible things, but it's not an actual side effect. On top of that,
so wait, are we just talking about semantics, that it's not a quote-unquote side effect, but it's a thing that could happen as a byproduct if you take it? Okay.
Not semantics. It's a side effect is an effect that happens from this vaccine. Like if you take this vaccine, this thing could happen. So that's not what was listed. What was listed was things that might not even have anything to do with the vaccine. These are just things that people called in and reported having like after the time period.
So then how are you, genuine question, then how are you determining that RFK is wrong about that correlation?
I'm wrong that he said that they were side effects and he was telling people that these are the side effects that you will get if you take the vaccine. That's not true. There is VAERS data and reported, and even on the insert that he pulled out. He
said you will get these, or this is possible to happen?
No, he said these are the side effects of the COVID vaccine, but it's not the side effects of the COVID vaccine. Do you understand the distinction between like post-market adverse reactions versus side effects?
I hear what you're
it's
saying.
A very important distinction.
Fair enough. But I'm just very skeptical that we would have even enough data to make that assertion based on the short period of time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. But that's the point of the VAERS data, which is why calling it side effects definitively is also not true. Like
okay, but the point that I'm trying to drill down on, the point that I'm trying to drill down on is, okay, let's say the side effect is the wrong term because that has a specific meaning and that is a direct connection. Is he wrong in saying that there could be a direct correlation, not a causation, but a direct correlation between the jab and the things that he's talking about?
If he said that what you just said, but no. He listed them as side effects.
Okay, so yes, we were talking about semantics.
No, we're not talking about semantics.
We're talking about things that can happen.
You're interpreting. You're saying.
I am absolutely. I'm interpreting the words people use as the way that people use the words. When people talk about side effects, they talk about the effects.
No. You're not talking about the way that people use the words, because those aren't the way.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreing with you.
You're not. You're not. I don't think you understand that you're not. It's not semantics.
What am I? What am I not? What am I not? What did I just say that I'm not?
Do you think that it's semantics?
No. I asked you a question. You said you're not. I'm not what?
You're not agreeing with me.
On what?
Do you think that it's semantics?
That's answer the question. What do you think I'm wrong about? If you have to ask a question, then you can't say that I'm wrong because you don't know what the fuck I'm saying. So maybe you should listen, and then you'll be able to determine very easily, you're wrong. It's actually
I understand exactly what you're saying. You're
okay, so what am I saying? I'm asking you to stimulate me.
I know confrontationists are, but what I'm saying is that you seem to think that he's not wrong for using the word side effects because of a semantic thing. I do not agree with that.
That's not my point.
So what did you say?
I said that it is a reasonable understanding of when you are talking to people that I agree with you in the legal sense that is not fair. But when the colloquial usage of side effects is talking about a direct correlation between a medication and a thing that can happen after you take the medication, not this is going to happen, not this is a causal factor, that this thing could potentially happen.
We disagree. We disagree on the fact that is the colloquial use of side effects.
But that's all. That's still what I've been saying.
I don't think that. That's what. If someone was to report,
I'll give you some ground here. I'll give you some ground here because I think it's important when that we do get into semantics a little bit, that we get the words correct, which is, and I think Fauci agrees with that, which is why they changed the definition of gain of function to enhanced evolution or whatever, so that they could legally go in and say, no, we're not using gain of function, when clearly Rand Paul was asking, are you taking the function of the thing and adding to it? No, Senator Paul, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no gain of function. We're just taking the function and adding more function to it. That's not gain of function. You don't know what you're talking about. It's because you don't understand. You don't understand. That seems to be what you're talking about here.